Hello, and welcome to another wrap-up. In August, I didn't read too many books. It wasn't something like 17 or something like I've done in the past. It was 8 books. It's my usual. So it was a good month, I guess. If we're not talking about like the ratings and stuff, it was pretty good. Yeah, but there were a few bad books this month. I think the worst that I've read this year is from this month. I'm not sure though. It might be. Let's just get into these stats. In terms of genre, I read 4 fantasy books, 3 romance books, and 1 horror book. There's a new one for you. And then in terms of star rating, I read 2 4.5 stars, 1 4-star, 1 3.5, 2 3 stars, 1 2.5, and 1 1.5 star. Horrifying. And in total, I read 3,102 pages. The first book I read in August was a book called Buttercup, Buttercup by Anna Alkire, and it was an arc from NetGalley. Why did I ask for it? Don't ask why, because I literally don't know. Which follows 2 main characters, Randy and Buck. Great names. Yeah, I know. Randy is a stuck-up study maniac, and the book starts off with her finding a place she thinks is quiet and is filled with studious women where she can live. But it turns out that it's not a quiet place at all. It's a party house, and obviously there she meets Buck the cowboy, which cowboy, there's none except a cowboy hat. As you can tell, not my favorite. I gave it a 1.5. Absolutely not good. Nothing about this was good, essentially, I think. But it's not the worst book I've ever read, so it didn't deserve the 1 star, which is reserved for the absolute bottom of the earth books and DNFs. So, yeah, there's just nothing good to say about it. The romance is bland, the characters are shit, the plot of the book is just them partying and drinking and puking and... oh, no. And there's a scene at the end that was my personal nightmare and just was a cherry on top for me to hate it. So, do not recommend this book. Did not like it. The next book I read was The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. And this follows, obviously, Jake, and he sees dead people reliving their last moments before they died. And in this book, he is being followed by a ghost. He doesn't know who, but we obviously know who it is from the beginning. And we also follow another character called Sawyer, and he is a school shooter. And we follow Sawyer less, obviously, and also Jake trying to understand Sawyer because he died. Yeah, that was it. I think I gave this a 2.5. It's like in the middle. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just there, if that makes sense. I preferred Sawyer's like story much more than Jake's. I would have loved a book just on Sawyer and his like story. I thought it was more interesting. I don't know. Jake was less interesting. I didn't care about his powers. He had like astral projection and I don't like that. That also happens in Black Girl Unlimited and I did not like it. There was some good scenes and moments, but like, I don't know. Also, it is categorized as horror and it's not scary at all. Like, a book that's also horror is Horror Store, literally, and that scared me. It made me a little bit like anxious in my house, thinking like somebody's gonna kill me a little bit. But this didn't make me feel scared at all or anxious, nothing. So I don't think it's a good classification as horror. I don't know. I don't find it scary. The next book I read was Coraline by Neil Gaiman. If you don't know what this is about, I highly recommend watching the movie, not reading the book. It follows a little girl, obviously called Coraline, who finds a small secret door in her house that leads to a parallel universe that looks exactly the same as her, except everyone has buttons for eyes. I gave this a 3. It's not good. Okay, it is a good book, but I think that having seen the movie so many times and loving it, there's a lot of aspects from the movie that I love that aren't in the original book that I feel like are what make the movie better. Like Wybie isn't in the book. the doll isn't in the book, and I love those two things. There are other things that are different too, but they're not as important. I just feel like if you've seen the movie, this is not going to be a good book. I feel like if I'd read it before I'd seen the movie and I was like maybe 11, I would have loved this. But now, not so much. The next book that I read was another arc called The Right Kind of Unexpected by Raina York. And this follows, I have completely forgotten the names of the characters, which says a lot. The female lead is left stranded at a gas station by her boyfriend, and because of that she can't pay for the gas, doesn't have a phone, all kinds of problems. So the family that own the gas station have to take her in, not have to, but they take her in, and obviously they have a really hot son that is the same age range as the main character. I gave this a 3.5. It was good, clearly better, slightly better than Coraline, but I feel like I'm just too old for it. If I had read this when I was 16, 15, I would have lived. One of the other reasons that I lowered it to a 3.5 and not like a 4 or something is because I really hated the ending. This book has the second chance romance trope, kind of, and I really dislike that when it's done in a specific kind of way, which is this book, and I don't like it, so that really pissed me off. Apart from that, it was a fun read. I read it in one sitting and I stayed up until 3 a.m. to finish it. The characters were nice, but like it's just a basic YA romance book. Like I already forgot the names, so clearly it wasn't that interesting, or like, I don't know the English word. What is it in English? Like it's not significant enough to be like in my memory. If that makes any sense. The next book that I read was a reread, which was Illuminae by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Forgot the name for a sec. And this is a sci-fi book which follows two characters, Ezra and Katie, and they are on a planet called Carenza, which is attacked by a ship. So they need to flee with the rest of the population and run away from that ship that is trying to catch up and kill them. And at the same time, on the ships that they are on, there's a plague breaking out that is mutating. The first time I read it, I gave it a 5 stars, but this second reread, I gave it a 4.5, only because I already know the plot twists, so I'm not, like, surprised. Like, a lot of the moments that you're supposed to be shocked, which I was the first time, I'm not, because I know what happens in the other books. So, yeah. Only because of that. I still love this series and I still love this book, but just because of that, I lowered the rating a little bit. The next book was the book that I chose for Buzzword of this month, which is The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye, which is the first book of a duology. And this follows two characters. I have forgotten their name. No, I have not. Vika and Nikolai, and they are both the only enchanters in Russia, but this is set like in the 19th century, I think, or before. Let me check. 19th century. And so they have to enter the Crown's Game, which is a competition where one of them will win and the other one will die. I gave this a 3. As you can probably tell if you have read the book I'm going to talk about, this is very similar to The Night Circus. 2 prodigies, 2 mentors, a game where they show magic, and one of them has to die at the end. Night Circus. It just annoyed me a little bit that was so similar, but I did like that it was set in Russia and it's slightly different, but still kind of similar. It was fun at first. The second half I didn't like as much as the first half. There are a lot of plot lines that I don't care about, that are like things going on that take a lot of chapters that I don't care about and had to read. Also, there's a love triangle. I don't understand why one of them... It's not a spoiler, it's on the back of the book. I don't understand why Pasha, which is the king's son, why he likes her. There's no reason for him to like Vika at all. I don't understand. No, actually, it's not a love triangle. I just remembered. It's a love square. Because there's another girl that's in... Just, no. I don't know. I just feel like it's too YA for me. Like, it was okay. It was fine. But like, did I love it? No. Is it original? No. So I don't know. I might not even read the second book. I don't know, maybe, because I bought it. But I'm not very motivated to read it right now. The next book that I read was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, and this was so good. This follows again two characters, Rowan and Zara, or Zahara. I'm not sure, I've seen both pronunciations, so I don't know. But I'm gonna call her Zara for now. Rowan is the CEO of Dreamland, aka Disneyland, but we're gonna ignore that. And he has to find a weakness in the park and fix it. Yeah, and he's a grumpy CEO, obviously. And then Zara is one of the people that works there, but she gets promoted to a creator, which are the people that create rides and stuff for the park, because she submits a proposal that could help the weakness of the park. I loved this. 4.5 stars. The romance was great. They have amazing banter. The tension is always great. The smut is so fun. Zara has the best banter. The best character, though, was her sister Annie. Love that queen to death. I just love this, except for, that's why there's not a 0.5 more, it's predictable. We knew the things were gonna happen when they did. And I don't know. I want to be flabbergasted. Or it has to be predictable in a way that I don't mind it being predictable, if that makes sense. Also, I'm kind of bored with the secret identity online and the same person being one and the same. But I do recommend this if you like romance with spice in it. TikTok did not fail me once again. The next book is a book that I did not read, but I want to mention because it's a DNF. And I want to just mention, I don't know. Which is The Warrior Heir by Cinda Williams Chima. Did not like this. I gave up at page 150 something. I read a lot. I was trying to give it a chance. But at that point, I just gave up. It's boring. It's 2014 YA and I'm done with that. Once again, clearly, this was not giving what it had to give. This didn't either. It's just boring. I don't know. I didn't like it. And the last book that I read in August was the first book in the series, which is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, I think, which follows Emilia and Vittoria, which are two twin sisters that are witches in Italy, Sicily to be exact. And one day Vittoria is murdered, so Emilia decides that she is going to find out who killed her. And while she is discovering that, she decides to summon a demon because her sister did, and summons one of the 7 princes of hell, which is Wrath. I think that's like non-spoilery enough to give you like a taste. I wanted to read this because I have an obsession, like unhealthy obsession, with the 7 deadly sins. Anything that has that mentioned, I will buy it, watch it, read it, whatever. So I was excited to read this. I ended up giving it a 4-star. It's a good book. I liked it. It's just that Emilia was annoying. She just makes dumb decisions constantly and she just is stupid, basically. I think my rage is also because I've read the second book and I don't like her there either. So yeah, I don't like her. Like dumbness, basically. Wrath, love him. Great character. Love him. Their banter is great. Loved the banter. Props for that. The plot itself, like the world building is good. I liked the witches and demons and the 7 sins, obviously, as I said. It was fun. However, a lot of this book, obviously, as I said when I was describing this book, revolves around the mystery of who killed Vittoria and why and whatever, and that just like fell flat to me because, one, obvious, predictable, we've been new since the beginning who did it. It's just like bad. I don't know. I didn't like it. When they revealed who did it, it was a dumb reveal, but also it's not a full reveal. I don't know. I just didn't like the mystery aspect of this book. But it was fun to read. And I read it in a singular day. But these books plus the 2 arcs were all of the books I read in August. Clearly forgot what month is what. So yeah, that is everything for today, and I'll see you in my next weird video. Bye!